Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Intermission Entertainment, bringing you your source of entertainment during the intermission. Oh my god, I nailed the intro. First time I've done it in months. It's been a while, I'll say that. Me over here decided to do the stupidest thing and stop uploading during the playoffs. Now, why did I do that? I have no clue. But big things have happened. Jacob Bernard Docker. Little shout out to him. Great guy. Great head on his shoulders. Really helped me out. Came on the podcast. We're gonna roll that interview in a bit here. Um, but it is gonna be a bit of a yapping spree today. It will be that. It's gonna be a lot of just kind of news before the preseason, and not even really a lot. I'm just trying to prolong the episode a bit until we can get to the interview. Make it a little longer. I like the longer ones. Um, Pause. Anyways, Sidney Crosby contract extension. Now, it's supposed to be done before the start of the season. That's what's being heard. Crosby's the heart and soul of this team. That's pretty obvious. I think everyone knows that. Let's be honest here. But yeah, Crosby is well. He's getting close to retirement. Let's just say that. He's got, the way he's playing, he could play for 8 more years if he wanted to. He's point per game in his late 30s. But anyways, he's he's on his way out. Pittsburgh need to do one thing now. They need to try and make the playoffs for him, Malkin, and Letang. Now there's been talk of Letang possibly being traded as well, but who knows if that'll happen. We're more focused on getting back into the playoffs for them, I think. And it's hard because I'm just thinking Dubas really wants to lean into a rebuild, and it seems that way. But you go out and you get guys like Ruther McGroarty for Braden Yeager, and what does that mean? That means a few things for this team. That's a guy that he's gonna take under his wing. He'll now McGroarty will probably end up playing on the second line. He'll play with Malkin, and he'll play with Rickard Raquel. But what will that mean? I mean, he'll still be under Crosby's leadership. Now, and he'll be under Malkin's leadership. Another great guy, one of the best players of the 21st century. No big deal. Anyways, this is a team that really needs to look towards developing young guys, but they need to sustain where they're at as well, which is a problem. I mean, Crosby's a guy who could go out, he's top 10 player in the NHL. Next year, he could go out and put 100 points up. Now, he needs guys like Raquel to click, and he needs some other line mates, which they pulled from every other team. Just, they need all click. They need a good season. We need Bunting. We need Bunting to play good. We need McGroarty to play good right out of college, which is a hard thing. But the kid's ready for a top 6 role, apparently, is what he thinks. So they're going to give him a shot at it. Now, what do I think Pittsburgh will do this year? Well, I think they'll be a bottom 10 team. I think it's inevitable. I think the younger you go, which is what they're gearing towards, even though they're still the oldest team in the league, the younger you go, the better for Pittsburgh. I think you need to get young guys in like McGroarty. Ideally, you didn't trade away Yager in that. Ideally, you gave up something else, but a prospect swap is fine. Yager's got a bit of a longer timeline, and McGroarty's ready now. That's what Pittsburgh needs. They need guys who can come in now, be ready to play, get back to the playoffs, hopefully. I mean, I'd love to see it. Um, but yeah, they need that. They need young guys to come in. They need older guys to perform. They need this team to click, and they need to make it back into the playoffs. Now, for Crosby's extension being said, he will be a Picture Penguin for life. Now, I was hoping possibly maybe he reps the CH one day, or he goes over to the Avs and he plays with McKinnon. But it's not going to happen. Sadly, it isn't. But yeah, who knows? I mean, this is a guy who can still carry a team through a playoff run if he needs to. It's just a matter of getting there. I mean, we saw what he did in the last 20 games last season. He had like 30 some points, put the team on his back, put it on his back. He's a goat. Crosby, my goat. Anyways, yeah, I think Pittsburgh need to focus on getting younger and getting back into the playoffs and Obviously, Crosby extended would take a lot of weight off the shoulders, ease the minds a bit. Hopefully, we don't have another Stamkos situation. And yeah, it'd just be great to see. We are going to move on. Short one here, but important. Brad Marchand, three surgeries. Three surgeries in the offseason. That guy, injuries in the playoffs is like a main thing. It's one of the coolest things to look at after the playoffs are over. You look at all the guys who are injured and what they sustained and how they're going to, how they're going to recover if they're going to be back for the first of the season. But it's like, it's cool. You look at Ekblad, like, what was it? Was it 2 years ago? I think he had a broken foot. I mean, he wasn't even ready for the start of this season. But it's crazy the injuries that go on. And guys just play through that. But it's fun to see, like, I mean, it sucks for the guys, but it's fun to see, like, all the injuries come out, and then you can kind of talk about it at the end of the season. That's why we don't realize how tough these hockey players are. Like, these guys are getting a beating, and they're playing 82-game seasons. That's not easy. Not even close to easy. So, I just, I personally, as a fan of the game, love to see those come out, and yeah. Hopefully, Brad Marchand is back for the start of the season, which it's looking likely. So, we are going to move on to the Montreal Canadiens. Oh, a personal favorite right here. What are we going to do at a training camp? Well, first of all, we get a new scoreboard. So, obviously, we're going to make the playoffs. No, I'm joking. But there will be two guys who I will put on a watch to make the team. Number one, Lane Hudson. Stud. Absolute stud. Number two, Logan Mailloux. Now, you could make an argument for Reinbacher, but I will say this. I do not think Reinbacher will... I don't think the Montreal Canadiens want Reinbacher to come right into the NHL from that shitty team he was in over in Europe. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to stick him down in Laval for a year. And with Harris being moved out for Laine, fingers crossed, 40-goal scorer in Laine. But with Harris being moved out for Laine and Kovacevic being moved out for a fourth, it opens up some opportunity. And I think that's what the Habs are hoping to do. Get a guy like Mailloux up. Get a guy like Hudson up. That's what we want to see. So, who will they be paired with? Well, I think Savard will be with Hudson. I think that's what they rolled out at the end of last season, and I'm pretty sure that's what it'll end up being this year too. Xhekaj and Mailloux, they played really good together down in Laval. So what could we see there? I think we could see a pretty good pairing arise for a little third line or third D pairing, I guess. I'd love to see it. Obviously, we're going to have Matheson and Gouli up on the top line. Gouli's going to play on his offside, which I'm not a fan of. Look, don't get me wrong. Gouli is a great defensive guy. I just think when he gets on his offside, he gets a little confused. It messes with him a bit. Now, it's a hard thing to do. You're playing on a completely opposite side, and not a lot of guys can switch that well. So, it'll be interesting to see. I think they're going to have pretty good decor back there. But we're going to move on to the forwards, and a guy in Joshua Waugh. I think you could stick him with the Mr. Underrated tag. He's good. He's really freaking good. And I think he might even be Calder top 10 good. That's how good we're talking here. Now, he's not Logan Stankoven odds. Now, we're not talking that, because Stankoven, just give him the Calder at this point. There's guys coming in like Macklin. There's guys coming in like Will Smith. But we're talking about a guy who already had 30 games under his belt. He's got playoff series under his belt. He was great when he was up for Dallas. So I see him winning the Calder. But anyways, Joshua Waugh. He's got a great shot. Makes very smart decisions. Not the greatest skater I've ever seen. Not his strongest ability. I think that's very obvious if you watch him. But a great player nonetheless. Very good player. He's smart, as I mentioned. He can pass the puck as well, which he's very dynamic, and he creates lots of opportunities. It'd be nice if we see. This is what shocks me about with the Habs. Are we going to go Waugh second line, and are we going to stick him up with Patty Line and Kirby Dog. What a stud, Kirby Dog. Or are we going to slip them down onto the third line and have New Hook play with Line and Dog? I think it's more of a matter if we want New Hook playing center or wing. So it's very interesting. Call me delusional all you want. I think the Habs are making the playoffs this year. I'm gonna claim it. I mean, look, I'm a Habs fan. There's some bias behind it, but this team has so much energy and such a close knit group. You see, with a lot of you see with a lot of close knit groups, they really kind of gel together and they overperform from what they're supposed to do. Now, it's been the case multiple times in the NHL. A lot of these guys, they really gel and then they get a very good connection and they just start to play better than they should. And do I think the Habs could do that? Yeah, I do. I think all these guys are really good buddies. They're a bunch of young guys. Even the older guys get along with them. They think they're a bunch of tools, I bet. But it's just there's such a good atmosphere and there's such good feeling around this team. I love it. I absolutely love it, and I'm so excited to see what they do. We are going to bring up Cole Caulfield, though. He did something quite considerate, I'll say. He swapped his number to honor Johnny Gaudreau. Now, the whole situation, I feel terrible for this family. Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau sadly passed away about 2 weeks back now, I'd say, day before his sister's wedding. Just terrible news. His funeral was actually yesterday, or the day before, I believe. And his wife announced that she's pregnant with their third child. So it's such a heart-wrenching story. It's terrible. Like, it sucks for this family. I don't even have the words, like, to say what I could, like, how bad I feel for this family, and I can't go out here and say, oh my god, I knew Johnny, so I don't know these people, but it is heartbreaking. It's very heartbreaking. It's terrible to hear, and I wish them all the best. I really do. That being said, Cole Caulfield did swap his number from 22 to 13. I'm gonna have to take the 22 off of the old jersey, slap the 13 on. I'm not paying $200 for a new one. We got guys like Hudson, Dimmadeb, Mayu. I gotta buy other jerseys too. Come on, Caulfield. But yeah, just an amazing thing that he did, and you love to see it. You love to see it. So much respect in the hockey world amongst these guys, and it'll be it'll be great to know that Johnny Gaudreau is being honored by, well, someone and many others, and he will never be forgotten. That's one thing. It's very nice to know. We're gonna move on to something else. Leon Draisaitl, 8 years, 14 million. Holy! Put a dollar sign next to his name on NHL roster. All right, like, what are we doing here? Edmonton. I mean, he's worth every bit. Don't get me wrong. He's a great player. $14 million. Wouldn't have gave it to anyone else besides McDavid, McKinnon, Matthews. There's a couple of guys I would have gave it to, but whatever. So Leon goes out and signs this massive extension. What does this mean? Well, McDavid's going nowhere. That's my bet. I don't think McDavid will go anywhere. But what does that also mean? That means, well, Leon didn't take a discount. So what's McDavid thinking? Why should I? Why should I take a discount? So McDavid's going to go from making 12 to, I'm going to say 16. I'll be generous. I think he'll take a little less at 16. I think McDavid, if he wanted to, he could walk in and say $17 million, balls in your court, do what you want. What can you do if he does that? You give him 17 or he's walking. So it's just, you're going to have 32, or no, sorry. That's my math skills on display there. You're going to have two guys at $30 million. That's a big hit. That's a big hit. And then you get Darnell Nurse, 9.25. Holy shit, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? We're handing out these contracts like the Feastables on a Mr. Beast video. Like, what are we doing? You get $40 million, essentially, tied up between those three guys. And then the young stud, Evan Bouchard. What's he going to ask for when his time comes around? And what is it? Does he got 1 or 2 years left? I don't know. 1 or 2. He's going to be wanting 9. Why not? I mean, you give it to everyone else. Why can't I have it? That's what he's thinking. But kid's phenomenal offensively. I mean, he's one of the best offensive defensemen in the NHL. Defensively, anyways, the kid's great offensively. He really is. But you're gonna have $48 million tied up between these guys, give or take, and that's a lot of money. Say in 2 years though, your cap's up to what, 92? What did it go up this year? 5 million. It's probably around, what is it now? 87. The cap went up 5 million this year. Say in 2 to 3 years, cap's at 92, maybe 95. We're still taking up half. What are we doing here, boys? We're still taking up half, and we're taking it between four guys. And you know who else is going to come around with a little ask for a dollar sign? Stuart Skinner. What's he going to get? 6 sheets, give or take? Probably. Last time Edmonton Holmes gave out 6 sheets to a goaltender, how did it go? Thanks, Soup. Anyways, yeah, what are we looking at? We're looking at what, 54 million between 5 guys, 4 guys, 1 goaltender, 20 guys on the team. It's 15 guys. You get around $40 million left. So what quality are we getting in the bottom 6 there? Obviously, you get a bargain on a guy like Jeff Skinner. You sign him for what, 3 million AAV? I want to say. I want to go out there and say that. But Buffalo just bought out his $10 million contract, so you're getting a bit of a bargain there. That's a guy who can score 40. Honestly, you put him on a wing with Dry or McDavid, that's a guy scoring 40. You got a few guys on team more friendlier deals, like Hyman, Zach Hyman. He's on a pretty good deal. I'll give him that. Ekholm, for the production he has, he's on a pretty damn good deal. But I'm just saying, say those 5 guys, instead of taking 54, they take 49.5. That's what, 5 million in difference. Like, say take 2 million off Davo, 1 off Dry, 1 off Boosh, Darnell, you're kind of stuck with that contract, and then whatever off Skinner. You're getting so much more quality out of that. You're getting a $5 million player. Let me name a $5 million player off my head. Anyways, Josh Anderson. We'll say him before you're out. 20 goal scorer, power forward, great bottom 6 guy. Not who you probably would go out there and want to get with your $5 million. Actually, no, scratch that completely. Let's say we go out there and we get 2 defensemen. 2 really good bottom pairing defensemen, $2.5 million. So much better than like a $1 million defenseman. And I don't want to say so much better because these guys are all elite. They're all great hockey players. But you go out there and you get a guy in a league min. What do you get? Well, you're either getting a guy who was just bought out and who's a really good player, or you're going out there and you're getting a very established, older defenseman who's got Stanley Cup experience for the most part. You could go out there and get a guy like Zach Bogosian. I mean, just for an example, like I'm talking Stanley Cup defense on a cheaper contract. Nice to have. Very nice to have. So look, I think it's a great signing. I think he's worth every penny. I'm all for players getting more money. I love that. I love that the NHL's spreading the wealth. But like you look over at other leagues, Dak the other day, 240 for 4 years, 60 sheets a year. Like what in the world? Crazy. The money they throw out in the NFL. I just started getting into the NFL. We're gonna have a little bet placed later. Because why not? But yeah, the money they throw around in the NFL is crazy. And the money they have in hockey, hockey is such a great sport. It is. It really is. It's not advertised as much as like the NBA or NFL or any of these sports, but I think hockey is the greatest sport in the world. I don't think I don't think there's any other sport that can even come close to it. And I think it's the hardest sport in the world. So if we're paying these players, pay them every damn penny they deserve. That's what I love to see. But that being said, what does this mean for Edmonton's winning window? Well, what does it mean? I mean, you're going to have half or probably 60% of your team in five guys. Like, you're going to have it wrapped up in salary between five guys. And no one wants, well, I mean, I would say no one wants that situation, but if you have a situation of McDavid, Draisaitl, Bouchard, Nurse, and Skinner all together, well, like, it's a very solid core if you get Nurse out of there. Look, I'm not saying Nurse is bad. He's just not worth 9 million. He's not like he's a $3-4 million defenseman, maybe depends. He's had some oopsie moments, even in the Stanley Cup playoffs last year. A couple of plays that were hard to watch. So yeah, I'm just saying, like you get a lot of money tied up between five. You're gonna have four skaters, one goalie, five people. That's a lot of money to have tied up. That's a lot of quality from your bottom to middle six. It's gonna go. Like it's hard to keep guys when you got guys making that much money. So, look, I'm all for it. I love Edmonton getting these signings done, but I'm just saying it might cause or pose a bit of a threat to that playoff window. That's all I'm gonna say. I think we're gonna do something now. We're gonna pass it on over to Jacob Bernard Docker, also known as JBD. I was gonna ask him where he got his nickname from in the interview, but I got so sidetracked. Towards the end, I apologize. A couple of those questions, terrible, like absolutely terrible. But thank you, JBD, and we're gonna send it over now. North Dakota alumni and current defenseman of the Ottawa Senators, number 24, Jacob Bernard Docker. How's it going?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm all right. How's the summer going?
Yeah, summer's been good. Just training in Minnesota this summer. So it's kind of a little new for me, but it's been great. The setup's awesome, and body's feeling good, so I can't complain.
That's good. Who do you normally train with? Like, are you on the ice with during the summer?
Yeah, the ice times are a little different than like the guys I train with. Guys kind of skate a little bit everywhere. Some guys do like 3-on-3. I'm doing like power skating on Tuesdays, Thursdays, so I've really been liking that. And then been playing in the Beauty League here in Minnesota, which is like a 4-on-4 pro league in the summer. So that's been fun too on Wednesday nights.
Man, you guys got like an NHL Stanley Cup defense there. You got K. Andre Miller, Middleton, you, and you got who else do you got? Brock Faber, you got him too, don't you?
Yeah, it's kind of like guys don't show up every week, so it's kind of like you don't have your like the whole team there. I wasn't there last Wednesday, but I played the first two games, and I'll probably play this week. But yeah, there's lots of guys that kind of make it when they can, so you don't have the whole team, but there's always like college guys or junior guys kind of filling in. So it's good. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I saw you there on Twitter. You had a nice clip, some filthy mitts on you there. Little breakaway.
Yeah, you won't see that in a game. I don't get many breaks, so I'll take them where I can.
Yeah. You're a big fishing guy, aren't you?
Yeah, I like fishing. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm like a big fishing guy, but like anywhere I can go on a little trip. Like me and my buddies we're out in Oregon for a wedding this summer, and kind of made it work. One morning, went out early, woke up at like 6:30, and went out on the Rogue River there, which like people fly from pretty much all over the world to go there, and so that was pretty cool. Caught a lot of trout and some steelheads and a couple salmon. So that was a pretty cool experience.
Nice. You go with Ridley Gregg too, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. Me and Ridley lived together last year. As me, him, and Jake Sanderson, and the plan is to live with Ridley here this year again. So yeah, we went fishing once in Ottawa last year. We actually only caught one fish. I'm pretty sure Rid's caught it. So, uh, yeah, not a ton of luck out there yet, but
Yeah, stick to fishing at that lake.
yeah,
You
yeah,
you a golfer at all or just
yeah.
fishing?
I like golf. I try to get out like maybe twice a week in the summers. I'm not like an everyday kind of guy, but been trying to work on my game a bit this summer. But it's pretty it's tough to get better at. Some days I feel like I'm getting better, and then other days you go out and you're just shooting just awful again, and you're like, man, this sport's the worst. But
Story of my life. I bought some new irons. I was like, oh, that ought to help. Help for like a round or two, and now I'm back to being the old guy who can't get the ball off the ground.
yeah, exactly.
Any of the guys on the team good golfers or
Yeah, I think Drake Batherson, he's like a scratch golfer. He's probably the best golfer, but there's a few good players actually. I'm definitely not one of them. So
yeah, it's all good. It happens. So to go back to that league you're playing in Minnesota, you guys are a non-profit organization, and at the end of the season, they auction off all the jerseys and everything to charity, don't they?
yeah, yeah, they do. And I know I think it's like $15 a ticket, and they get like probably. I mean, I don't even know exactly how many people they get in the rink, but it's probably close to like 300, 400 maybe some days. So it's yeah, they do a really good job actually, and I'm not actually sure like what charity the money goes to, but I know it's like run through the Octagon agency, and those guys they do a really good job actually organizing that, and um yeah, I think this year they've really dialed it in. I think there used to be 6 teams. This year there's only four, and so it's a little like less watered down, and it's definitely fun, and obviously the proceeds are going towards their charity of choice, which like I said, I'm not really sure exactly what it is, but
Yeah,
for
just
yeah for
a good way
us,
to do it.
yeah, for sure.
Um, your mom is actually who got you into hockey. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean that's the story I'm told as a kid, that my mom put me in hockey, and then my dad, he coached me kind of all the way growing up until I was, I don't know, 13, 12, maybe 12. He stopped right around there, but um, so yeah, she got me into it, and then my dad, obviously, he was like a big part of it too, like just helping me out, and um, neither of them ever really like it wasn't like a pressure thing at all. Like I just loved it so much, and I think that's part of the reason like that I made it to where I am today is just because like they were always just so supportive and helped me through everything that I wanted to do. So
Did you start off fairly early? Like, what age did you get into it? Around novice, probably.
yeah, I think probably like 4 or 5 years old is kind of when I got into it.
Yeah, that your
Yeah,
dad was a goalie too, wasn't he?
my dad, no, I think he didn't play very much as a kid. Like they didn't have a ton of money growing up, so his dad gave him the choice to pick between like skiing and hockey, and I think hockey was just a little too expensive, so he ended up like skiing a lot, and then he swam a bit in university, but um, I don't know. Yeah, I think he only played to like Pee Wee, and I don't think he was a goalie unless he just never told me that. But
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what the
yeah,
I was watching an NHL draft, doing some research, and that's what it said. It said he was a goalie then.
yeah, they might have got that one wrong. I'm not sure on that.
When did you decide to be a defenseman, or did you start out a defenseman?
Um, no, I don't think I started out a defenseman. I feel like I played a little bit of everything until I was probably like 12 or 13, like Pee Wee. Maybe I started like full on becoming a defenseman. I think.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
how'd you develop that good shot of yours? I mean, I saw a thing on Sportsnet the other day. You were the most lethal goal scorer from the right point in the NHL this year. Three
Yeah.
goals.
Yeah, you just look on that list. There's like one guy that doesn't belong. It's me, but it's yeah. I mean, I only had 4 goals this year, but 3 of them I think came from that right point area. And I mean, as a right demon, I guess that's just kind of where I'm getting most of my shots from, right? So yeah, I don't know if that's gonna be the case moving forward or not, but I like just kind of ripping them from out there every once in a while and just trying to throw it across the grain or something and get a good bounce, and sometimes they go in.
I mean, everyone needs their cookies after all.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, you went. kind of an untraditional route. You went through the AJHL and you kind of followed Makar's footsteps. Is that a good way to put that?
Yeah, I would have played against Kale my first year. I mean, he was unreal. I played in Okotoks for 2 years, and then ended up going to North Dakota after that. But yeah, I mean, I was kind of undecided, like growing up. Like I ended up getting drafted like late to Swift Current. I went to a few of their camps in the Western League, and then um, just didn't really want to like commit to that, and then close the door to college. So I decided to play a year at Junior A, and ended up getting a few offers, and so obviously it ended up working out well that way.
Did you know you were gonna going pro? Did you have that in your mind, or did that just kind of happen throughout playing?
I mean, as a kid, I think you always like I always watched, World Juniors, NHL, like almost every night, Sports Center every morning, that type of thing. Like I just loved it so much. I don't think it was ever like, oh, I need to make it to the NHL. It's like it was always just like a far fetched dream, I guess, but kind of just started getting more real and real. I guess around the junior level, and when I ended up getting drafted, that's when I was like, okay, I guess this is like I got a legit shot to try and make it now. So um, yeah, I've just always kind of looked at it like that way, like not really putting like pressure on myself to make it there, but just keep working and getting better, and seeing where it can take me basically.
Yeah, the AJHL isn't a very popular league to get drafted out of. Did it ever cross your mind that you wanted to play college over the QMJ? Like was that a staple, like playing college hockey?
Um, yeah, like as a Canadian kid, you're not like exposed to colleges as much. So halfway through my 16-year-old year, I ended up like taking a visit to like four schools, and that's kind of when it like really opened my eyes to like how big the college hockey is. And I'd be getting to play against guys that are a lot older, stronger than me, and you kind of just have a bit longer to stay if you want to, and develop there. Like there's guys in college that are like 24, 25 years old, instead of leaving junior at 20, and then you're forced to turn pro after that. So for me, it was just like a good route. I think I was never like one of the kids that was gonna like pop off in junior and you know what I mean, head straight to like NHL or right into the pros and just really succeed. So I thought it was great for me to kind of spend 3 years at North Dakota there and refine my game, obviously, and then I ended up playing pretty much 2 full years in the AHL with Belleville, and then last year was kind of like my first full year up. So
So talking about North Dakota, how much did Ottawa have to pay you to get you out of that facility? Like that place is beautiful.
yeah, yeah, it was a tough choice to leave. Like I loved it for sure, but I mean, I guess I could have stayed one more year. But I think it was just time at that point to try and move on and play against guys that are obviously bigger and stronger again at the pro level. So um, yeah, I mean it was a great 3 years, and 3 years that I'll remember for the rest of my life for sure.
You ended up having three other Ottawa draft picks. It was you, Tyler Clevin, Shane Pinto, and Jake Sanderson. You all played on a team. That might be the first time that ever happened. Four guys playing for a university team.
Yeah, I mean I'm not really sure like the actual stats like if that's ever happened before, but I mean I feel like it's probably the first time. So yeah, we've played a few games where all four of us are in the lineup, and that's pretty neat for sure. Like playing together in college and then being on the same team in the NHL. It's like I don't know. It's kind of like you don't really realize how special it is until you kind of step back and just like look at it. But um, hopefully we can all four like stick for good on the team and at one point here, and yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, you guys got some pretty good chemistry there, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing together. You're spending so much time together in college that you get to be pretty good buddies away from the rink, and so I think that's the special part. Like you just know those guys so well, and it's just like a bit of a comfort factor, and you can kind of go into the rink and have a few really close buddies, and yeah, it's awesome.
Who did you grow the closest to when you were at North Dakota? Was it any of those three guys, or did you have someone that you really kind of stuck with and became good buddies with?
I mean those guys for sure. You kind of grow closest like with your class, like the guys that you go in with. So I think there was like 6 guys in my class, so still pretty close with all those guys, and usually see them at like a wedding or two in the summer, and it's always good to catch up with them. But yeah, you're usually close with your class just because you're living with them. You do everything with them in college. So
North Dakota's a pretty close knit group too. Like most of like some guys who get drafted even and guys who have played in the NHL will go back and play against those college students in the summers, won't they?
yeah, they do like a pro camp. So every summer, like um guys would go back and do like a week or maybe just a little bit less than a week, but of skates and workouts together, and kind of before guys take off for their pro seasons, just to get like a little like obviously internal competition and just get geared up for the season. And I did it last year. I think I only made like 1 or 2 days just because I was pretty busy and ended up driving through Grand Forks at the right time and stuff like that. And the year before, I think I went for 5 days or something like that. But this year, I'm unfortunately not gonna be able to make it. But really liking my training here, so I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, it's they do a really good job of kind of getting guys back there, and I feel like that's just like part of like the culture of the school, and the culture you learn is like um just being there for one another, and trying to give back, and yeah, just carrying on like that kind of tradition. So
Yeah. Was it a bit of a culture shock when you went from university to the NHL? I mean, obviously, your rink wouldn't have been as nice as the college one. And do you find it's the crowd's different? Like it's more electric in a NHL arena?
yeah, like well, my first year, like when I came out of school, was actually that COVID year, so I was like playing in front of like literally no fans, like just cardboard cutouts in the rink. So that was kind of a different experience. But I think North Dakota did a really good job of just like kind of prepping me. Like you get like 11, 12,000 people a night there. So obviously in the NHL, it's a little more than that. Um, but I was kind of used to like the big crowds and the energy in the building, and so I think that actually really helped me kind of making that jump.
Yeah. Um, Prior to this season happening, Pierre Dorian mentioned that it's your spot to lose before the season started. Did you take that as a fuel to your game and really try and amp it up and make the NHL roster this year?
Yeah, I mean, I try not to look too much into that stuff. Like as cheesy as it sounds, like you just got to go out there and try to be yourself and put all that behind you. But like there's like a few things you'll hear or whatever, like in the media or whatever it is that you try to use as motivation or just to kind of push yourself to the next level. But yeah, like I didn't end up making the team out of camp this year. Like they sent me to DHL. I played 2 games there. They kind of had some cap, I guess, like struggles, and could only keep like 60 on the roster or whatever it was. So I ended up being kind of like number 7 at the start of the season. Um, I ended up working my way into the lineup like after a few injuries, and playing well. And but yeah, I mean, you hear stuff like comments from whether it's internal or external, and definitely try to use it as fuel sometimes. But like I said, you just got to go out there and play your game.
Yeah, I get that. Um, do you find the coaches like you can make a mistake out there and not feel like you're going to be benched the rest of the game? Do you find they're pretty forgiving? I mean, obviously you have a bit of a newer staff coming in over the past couple of years and a few shakeups, but have you had pretty good opportunity in Ottawa?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always tough. Like as a young guy, you feel like one mistake or 2 mistakes is like, oh, I'm going to be out of the lineup next game, and you feel like you don't have a ton of leash just because you haven't really proven yourself at that level yet. So it's like for me, that's something I try to work on, like mentally, with the guy that I talk to, and just try to like be a little more free, and not care so much about mistakes. I'm a guy that like I feel like I just always want to do the right thing, but obviously hockey's a game of mistakes, and a lot of the best players are actually just like so good at just forgetting about it because they just know they're going to go out and do something good the next shift. So that's something I've been working on. I feel like coaches were, I mean, obviously we have a new coaching staff coming in next season, but they were always really good with me and helped get me to where I am.
Have you had any new talks with the coaching staff or any new guys that have came in through free agency yet?
Yeah, like they've the new coaching staff has kind of one by one reached out to me and um I mean I'm assuming they reached out to everyone and just kind of checking out on the summer training and asking what you need to do to be a big part of the team the next year and things you need to work on and stuff like that. So yeah, they've done a good job of kind of reaching out and obviously they're trying to make their own plans that and they haven't really seen like our team um perform yet, right? Like they hear things about the team and whatever, but they're obviously not in the organization. So it's you just got to go into training camp and like I said, like just play your game and try to improve on the things that they told you need to get better at.
Yeah. You guys lost the guy in a trade this year, Jacob Chikrin. Do you find that has an impact on the team when the guy's there for a little bit and then he takes off?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, always tough, like seeing a guy go that you really like in the locker room, and obviously he's a hell of a player too. So it's tough, but it's like it's just part of the business. Like it could literally happen to anyone, and that's one of the things you learn pretty quickly in pro hockey is just like you got to enjoy the times that you have where you have buddies on the team or um whatever it is because it's probably not going to last that long, and there's always changes. So I feel like it's just kind of part of what you got to deal with.
Yeah. Who's your guys' best locker room guy, would you say?
Oh, that's tough. I don't know. There's a few clowns. Shane Pinto's a pretty funny dude. Travis Hamonick's really funny. He's always been really good to me. So um, yeah, I mean, I'd say those two. I don't know about anyone else off the top of my head, but it's always fun to have some characters in the room for sure.
You got any stories about Pinto?
No, I don't. I don't
None,
think so.
none that you can tell.
Exactly.
You mentioned earlier that you're feeling good, like right now, your body's feeling good. Is that hard after leading the NHL as one of the best shot blockers with 156 block shots this year?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely games where I was feeling it. After I took a block actually with like 5 games left in the season on my hand, and that kind of lasted a while and even into the summer, and wasn't really able to like shoot a lot. So I just kind of for the first month when I started skating, it was a lot of just power skating and puck handling, but still couldn't really shoot just because I had a pretty bad bone bruise on my hand. So there's definitely some games where you get a stinger or two, but um, obviously it's one of the things that I got to do to stay in the lineup. So
Yeah. Who do you think has the hardest shot? I mean, you've been in front of a ton of them, so you should have a good idea.
I mean, I'd say Ovechkin's probably the scariest one to like go out and block on like a one timer for sure, just because he can absolutely hammer it and just stands in his office. So I
Yeah.
blocked one or two of his this season, and I remember just being by far the most scared of that.
He can hit too. Like he's a big guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he can. He'll take runs at guys for sure, and he's like, I mean, I don't know exactly how much he weighs, but it's like a getting hit by a bowling ball. Like you're probably not staying on your feet if he catches you. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's 6'3", 240. Like he's a
yeah,
solid guy.
yeah, he's a big boy.
Who's the hardest hitter? Like have you taken a hit and thought, holy shit, like how am I gonna get back up?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been hit. I mean, as a D man, like going back for pucks, like on retrievals, you're getting hit a fair amount, especially if you're playing against like the fourth line or even some checkers on the third line, like where that's kind of more like their role is for checking. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously Tom Wilson's a guy you got to look out for. He's always throwing some big hits, but there's usually one or two guys on every team that you just kind of got to be aware of.
Yeah, who do you find you guys had the biggest rivalry with this season? Like a lot of bad blood between you guys?
I mean, I'd say our biggest rival is probably Toronto, just like the Battle of Ontario. Obviously, that's been like a long lasting rivalry, like just because you're so close. And, unfortunately, there's always lots of Toronto fans that make the trip to Ottawa. So, yeah, but those games are always really fun. So,
Yeah. Is there any team that has a really hard system to play against that you guys haven't really cracked yet?
I mean, I always found like Carolina to be really hard to play against. They just felt like there's always on top of you, and you never really had much room. So I'd say they're definitely one of the harder teams to play against. Them, obviously Florida. Um, yeah, those would be the two that I'd say.
Yeah. You ended up having a couple of fights this season, one with Travis Konechny. How did that even happen? I mean, you just lost an edge, and then the guy kind of went haywire after he fell over you.
Yeah, that was last season actually. That was 2022, 23, and then I had one last year with Mikey Esmont. But yeah, the one with Konechny, I like if I can remember correctly, I don't remember if I was trying to hip check him or I kind of just tried to clip him in the neutral zone to slow him down or what it was. But then he kind of got up after I hit him and asked me to go, and I was like, yeah, I might as well. So that was my first fight in the NHL though.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
nerves for your first fight there.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have a lot of time to think about it when a guy asks you like that, but yeah, I definitely got to the penalty box and my heart rate was pretty high.
And do you find that with a fight in the NHL, like, does it put your name on the map as one of the tougher guys? Are you trying to do that, or are you just trying to prove yourself?
No, I mean, I'm definitely not one of the tougher guys. But like occasionally, like you just have to like stand up for yourself, stand up for your teammates, and um, it just I for some like non-hockey fans, I guess it's kind of tough to like understand, but like um, there's just there's times in the game where like the team needs some energy or whatever it is. So yeah, I'm not like a fighter by any means, but like I try to mix it in here and there to give the boys some energy or kind of change the momentum of a game like that.
Yeah. Do you find that's why Brady's so good? Like, the guy just goes out and he'll do anything to get the team really into it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's actually tough, a lot tougher than I am. So yeah, when he throws them, like guys are definitely aware, and yeah, I mean, he's willing to do anything to help the team win. So that's a guy you definitely want on your side.
He's a great captain, isn't he? And you guys, do you find you have a really good leadership group in there?
Yeah, no, he does a great job, and obviously as a team, man, we haven't like succeeded the past couple of years, but um, I mean, he does everything he can every night, and yeah, so hopefully this is kind of the year that things kind of turn around, and we can have a little success.
Yeah. Would you go out there and say this is your guys' year? Like, you need to do something this year?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna put any undue pressure on the boys or make any comment like that, but I think we obviously there's expectations this year, more than any other year for sure. So, but I mean, I don't think it's time to kind of get too far ahead of ourselves. Like we just need to go out and have a good start to the season, really try to build off of that instead of kind of saying some at the start of the season that we need to make playoffs or we need to do this. Like we just need to kind of focus on getting off the blocks good this year. I know the last couple of years we've had kind of tougher starts and it's just been hard to recover from. So
Yeah. You ended up playing with Tom Shabbat this year for quite a bit, didn't you?
yeah, I mean, I kind of got mixed up honestly a lot. Like I played with Shabby for a bit, played with Chick for probably close to half the season. Um, Played with Branny a bit. Like I played with Sandy a couple games. I literally played with like every lefty on our team. It was just kind of one of those years where either guys were getting injured and it kind of changed a bit, or we're not having a great stretch and they're trying to mix things up. So I played a bit with everyone, honestly.
Yeah. And do you like bouncing around, or would you rather have a guy that you can like solidify and just kind of be there with?
I mean, I think ideally you'd rather have someone you could play with like consistently, just so that you kind of get in a rhythm and you end up obviously like knowing their tendencies a little bit better when you start playing with them for an extended amount of games. So, but it's always going to change. Like that's just the way it is, and you kind of got to be ready to play with anyone, I guess.
Yeah. Are you a guy who like looks into stats? Like, are you a stats guy, or do you just not really care?
No, I'm. I mean, if you go look at my stats, you probably figure out pretty quickly that they don't matter that much to me. But I mean, everyone likes to get points, right? Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, everyone, it feels
Yeah.
good to like a point here and there. Like, but by no means do I look at my game and go like, oh, I'm gonna, I didn't have a point tonight. Like, I played bad. Like, points have pretty much no meaning to how I'm playing and or to how I'm helping the team. So, um, that's what the guys that get paid the big bucks get paid to do. So, um, yeah, I'm not a huge guy into that. So
Man, next contract negotiation, you're gonna have to pull up that right point goal stat.
yeah, send them that picture, see what they say.
Walk in to Steve Stahos's office and be like, 3 million, buddy, or else I'm leaving. Did you end up playing in Sweden this year when you guys went over there, or were you down in the HL?
Yeah, no, I played in those two games. That was actually a really cool experience. It's just like a rowdy crowd, um, and just being over there. Like I guess I did play in Europe before. Like my World Juniors were over in the Czech, but Sweden was a pretty cool spot. Like it's beautiful over there and not a lot of sunlight. I remember like the sun was going down at like I want to say it was like 3 or 4 p.m. every day. Like it gets dark fast.
Oh, really?
Uh, yeah, in the winter, but it was really cool actually, a really cool experience.
Was it hard to readjust when you guys came back over? Like, were you a little drowsy, or?
Yeah, I mean both ways were pretty tough. Um, I think coming back was a little bit worse, but we ended up having like a 5 day break where we didn't have a game when we got back for like 5 days. So that was nice, but then that kind of affected our schedule down the road because like we played like I don't know, like barely any games in like 2 weeks, and then a month later we have a game like every other day. So it got pretty crowded like the second half of the season because of that schedule.
Thanks, no thanks, Gary Bettman. Uh,
Yeah.
do you find back to backs are hard on guys? Like, do you play a little worse in the second game when you're playing back to back?
Um, I, I mean, I don't think so. Like, there's definitely games where, like, if there's travel in there, like, you feel worse in the back to back. But I mean, there's some games even you feel better on a back to back just because your legs are kind of just going from the night before already. But there's definitely nights where, yeah, you're gassed depending on how much you played the night before. But it's something you just got to get used to, I guess.
Yeah. And does the travel really like suck for you guys? Do you rather like just kind of taking a bus? Do you ever take a bus, or are you normally on a plane?
No, we fly everywhere, which is nice. In the AHL, it's a lot of busing, but NHL, it's all private jets, so it's a treat for sure.
Are the boys running some games on the jet?
Yeah, like there's two card tables. I don't really play. I'll like sub in if someone's gone, but usually it's like the older guys, the vets, guys that have kind of been there for a while, and they play whatever it is, poker, cards, and um, I end up like just ended up playing Ridley Gregg and Crib like pretty much every flight for the last like maybe like 10 games this season. We ended up doing that, so that was fun.
And do you have like a high stakes, low stakes table there on the plane?
I think they do something like that. I'm not really too sure, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Did you guys end up having a rookie party?
Yeah, we did. It was in LA this year actually. So that was yeah, that was a good time. Glad that's over with. But
So Did the boys kind of like think like LA, that's where we're gonna do it this year? Did they organize that at the first of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think the older guys on the team like usually have an idea of where they're going to do it, like right at the start of the season, and make sure that it's kind of a date where there's not really any games around, or you have at least a few days of practice or whatever after, um, just so you can recover a bit and obviously be good to go for the game. But
And
yeah, guys usually do it. I think in like warmer cities like Nashville, LA, Florida, that kind of stuff. I think that's typically where teams try to do it.
yeah, Nashville's becoming a really big market. Did you see a few of those signings they got?
Yeah, I mean they're gonna be a good team for sure. Like getting those few good goal scorers, obviously. So yeah, we'll see there. I don't know if people really expected that, but that was yeah, big free agent day for them.
Yeah, it was out of the blue to me. I didn't really see it coming. Did you or do you have a place that you like to visit more than anywhere else?
A place?
Yeah, like a city that you like to travel to over anywhere else?
Yeah, I mean I'd say it's pretty tough to beat Florida, like just being on the beach. That's nice. Um I actually low key like Carolina. It's like always just nice weather and there's like a nice shopping mall right by the hotel.
Yeah.
Um yeah, there's definitely some good spots. Few low key cities that are nice too, but I'd say like the big ones are definitely like Florida and Nashville.
Yeah. Do you guys end up golfing when you're on the road, or do you just kind of leave that for the off season?
There's some guys that do. I'm kind of more of a leave it to the off season kind of guy. I would if there's like we have like a little break in the schedule maybe, but I haven't really done that yet. So just try
You,
to get the back.
yeah. Do you guys have a green light? Like if you play back to back and then get 2 days off, do you have a green light to kind of go out and do whatever?
Yeah, I mean once you're kind of in pro hockey, it's up to you kind of how you want to treat your body. So um, I'm pretty big on like trying to get my sleep, my rest. But obviously, there's some nights where you want to go have some fun with the boys, and you need nights like that too. So you just try to pick them in smart areas and be smart about it.
Yeah. And overall, are you enjoying like the pro hockey life?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I dreamed of doing as a kid. So it's nothing I can complain about. It's a grind at times for sure, but I wouldn't change it for anything. And it's kind of what I worked on growing up. So it's yeah, like I said, it's fun and just try to take it all in.
Yeah. When you were younger, did you have a favorite team?
Not really, honestly. I was always a bit of a bandwagon. Like I kind of liked Chicago, LA,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, whoever was winning. And then I think my friends ended up just like kind of losing their mind on me because I was always switching teams. So I ended up going with like Montreal when I was like maybe 13 or something like that. Because I always kind of like PK Subban. So that was kind of the team that I stuck with for a bit.
Yeah. You still there? Or are you on the Ottawa bandwagon now?
No, I mean I can't really cheer for anyone now, obviously. So
Yeah. In do you is Brady cheering for his brother? Like when you guys aren't playing each other? Do you find?
I mean I think he's always watching his brother's games and yeah, I mean rooting for him and um I think at the same time like you want to try to focus on your own team and doing well, but I mean I know if I had a brother in the league you'd always want him to do well, right? Like that's your family and I'm sure it was like kind of tough for him to obviously awesome and tough at the same time to see his brother win the cup because it's like it's the same thing that you want so badly, but you're obviously so proud of your brother. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I feel like Brady's a pretty good sport about it and always supports him. And seems to like go to a lot of the like the playoff games and watch Matthew. So,
Yeah. He's gonna come out this year with fire lit under his ass.
yeah, yeah,
Brother
for
got
sure.
one now. He's gonna try.
Yeah,
You actually had a brother, Seth, right? Seth.
yeah.
And is he in the pro hockey scene, or is he just kind of
Playing at Bentley University in Boston.
okay?
So he's going into his junior year there, so his third year, and then my sister plays out in Mount Allison, New Brunswick. She's going into her senior year, I guess.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's really all I got for you. So I appreciate you coming on.
All right, brother. Yeah. Thanks for having me, and glad we could get connected.
Hey, no problem. Have a good one.
All right, buddy. See you later.
See you later. Thank you, Jacob Bernard Docker. What a great interview. I mean, this is a guy you could talk to him all day. So easy to bounce questions off of, and he responds. He responds. He's got nice answers. Makes my life so easy. Makes my life so easy. Shout out Todd Pellerine. Todd Pellerine, also my cousin. He got me this interview. I couldn't be more thankful to him. I appreciate it so much. JBD, I appreciate you more than anything for coming on. Really put me on the map here, buddy. I appreciate that. And look, I'm hoping you have a great season, okay? Because that just rises my stock, rises your stock. I hope you get paid. A lot of people know now, because they watched the interview, best scoring defenseman from the right point, JBD. So look out for my boy, he's lethal. He's lethal on the right point. Those clap bombs, no one stands a chance. Don't even get in front of it. Just move out of the way. Get the goalie out of the net. He's going to score anyways. 3 goals from the right point. Hype him up. Hype him up. Give him $3 million. 3 sheets, 8 years. Love to see it. JBD. All right. There we go. Anyways, thank you, buddy. And we're going to move on here. We're going to move on to player predictions. How's this going to go? Well, we're going to find out. Our first one we are going to do, send it over to the Ottawa Senators. Keep it local. Shane Pinto. Pints. This is a guy who had a 41-game sussy because gambling. Happens to all of us. Look, Pinto was great after he got back last season. 41 games played, every single game from the end, or from halfway through the season to the end, and 9 goals, 18 assists, 27 points. Pretty damn good. Look, this is a guy with Josh Norris. Look, Josh Norris, please be healthy. I want to see this guy healthy. He's got his shoulders taped on during most games. It's so terrible to see. It's terrible to see. I hate seeing guys' health decline, but it does pose the question: Is he like? Can you rely on this guy to be a second line center? I don't know if you can. It's unfortunate for sure, but is Pinto going to get that opportunity to have the second line center? I don't know. I think it's possible. And if Pinto ends up jumping up on that second line, I can see him going around. Is it crazy to say point per game? I think it's crazy. I think it might. I don't know though. Ottawa's got a lot of talent up there. They get a lot of talent up front, and I could see Pinto going around point per game. But assuming he starts the season third line role, and possibly jumping up into a second line role midway through the season or something around there, I'm going to project this guy to have 22 goals, 47 assists, 69 points. Hopefully, he gets over that. Hopefully, we see him. Well, I do want Montreal to make the playoffs, so hopefully he gets around that. Maybe a little over. But don't go crazy, Pinto. My boys in the CH need to do good. But yeah, it'd be great to see him do that. I'd love to see Pinto get that total. We are going to move on to another guy. Now, you know how much Google Translate this took me to get this name right? And I'm still going to butcher it. You watch me. Put $10 on it. Maxim Siplikov. I think I said it right. I'm hyped up. KHL last season. Biggest guy in the market out of Russia. Like 100%. 65 games, 31 goals, 16 assists, 47 points in the K. That's pretty damn good. Now, Kuzmenko had less goals than that when he came over. But Kuzmenko shot like a 22% or something. Like ridiculous. Like Siplikov isn't going to shoot that. So I do think, well, he's slotted in right now. He's slotted on the second line. Brock Nelson's going to center him. That's a 35 goal scorer right there. That's a few apples. That's a few apples. Even if you're not a passer, the puck gets knocked off your stick, goes on to Brock Nelson. He's shooting. He's scoring. Siplikov can score. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to say he has a perfect 82-game season. He's going to score 27 goals, 32 assists for 59 points. I'd love to see it. I like seeing these guys come over. It's fun to see the comparables, see these guys come over from Russia and then see them play in the NHL. It's always different for them, and it's always fun for me to see, especially when you get a guy like Demidov coming over. I'm going to want to see a comparable. Get Demidov over now as well. Roman Rottenberg, SKA's coach, not playing Demidov enough. I'm not liking it. Kent Hughes, please work your magic. Get him over here. Jeff Molson, I know the rebuild series is coming out on Crave. Take the fundings, put them into Demidov. Get him over here. Sign him on a two-way for 3 years. ELC. Don't let him get any better before we have to pay him $11 million for 8 years. Leon Draisaitl money. Not liking that. But who knows? Anyways, we're going to move on. Oh my god, I'm getting sidetracked today, but we are going to move on to Josh Doan. Shane Doan, former Utah legend. It's funny how those transfer over, those records. Like, Dale Hawerchuk is technically a Utah hockey club legend, if you think about it. He played on the Winnipeg team. It's funny to think. Teemu Selanne probably has a goal record all time in a season for Utah. Like that, it's out there. Anyways, Josh Doan played 11 games last year, had 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points, on an Arizona team that was, well, tracking to make the playoffs until they, your teams get moved, your whole family's moving, your friends are moving, you don't know what's going on. It's a big hit during a season. It really is. It's tough to get over that. But anyways, Josh Doan, almost a point per game in 11 games. Big season coming up. Over on the daily faceoff, he's slotted to play in on that right wing on the third line. I think you throw him up on the second, he's going to have like Lawson Krause and he's going to have Bukestad, but he doesn't. So he's one line down, and I can see this guy putting up, 76 games played. Not a perfectly healthy season, but pretty healthy. 18 goals, 21 assists, 39 points. I think that's solid. I think that'd be great for him to do that. And yeah, like, what do you know? Hopefully he can get it done. We're going to move on to one last guy here. Jack Quinn. Where do I start? Had a very unhealthy season last year. Injury bug bit him a few times. 27 games played. Yikes, don't like to see it. 9 goals, 10 assists, 19 points. Pretty damn good, I'll say that. What can I see him putting up for next year? Well, he's slotted in on that second line, right wing, centered by none other than Nick Cousins, and his left wing, Jason Zucker. Pretty damn good. If Cousins can get back to that 35 goal, 40 assist kind of caliber, if he can get up there, Zucker can play his game, 20 goals, 30 some assists, 50-point guy, veteran presence. I'm liking Jack Quinn's odds to score 25 goals. But that being said, Cousins did have a down year last year, and Quinn's coming off an injury season. So he's going to be hungry. I'll say that. He'll be hungry. He'll be looking to do something. And I think he will. So this is why I have Jack Quinn getting 24 goals, 32 assists, 56 points. Incredibly solid season from especially a young guy like this. And look, it wouldn't surprise me if he puts up more than that. With all the opportunity on Buffalo, you got to remember, 2 years ago, this is one of the most high-scoring teams in the NHL. They were one of the highest-scoring teams in the NHL. And can they get back to that? Maybe. Their defense was terrible that year, but can I see them getting back to that? Yeah, I can. And it'd be nice to see. So that's why I have Jack Quinn putting up those numbers. I'd love to see that. I've been into the NFL recently. I'll say that. Been a pretty big NFL guy. Thrown down a couple of bets. That's why I'm going to hit you with a moneymaker bet. Throw it up on the screen here. Plus 800. I'm throwing $5 down. I lost $25 in my gambling career. I'm trying to make it back. I'm throwing Hail Marys. I'm still throwing them. Plus 800. $5 to win 45 for me. For you, it could be anything. Josh Allen, 200 passing yards. That's a given, basically. He put up 230 some against the Cardinals, shittiest defense in the NFL, or at least one of. We'll say that. And I had him getting over 255, so that kind of screwed me there. But whatever. It's a big ask from a guy. But he likes to run the ball. We'll give him a tutty. I can see Josh Allen scoring a touchdown, and that's why I bet on it. James Cook. They utilized him a lot the other day. So I'm liking his odds for combined receiving and rushing yards of plus 50, or 50 plus, we can say. I think those are all basically hits, you know? We're going to move on to the Dolphins side here, though, and we're going to see Tua, 250 passing yards. Dolphins love to throw the ball, and you got a guy like Tyreek, you got Jalen Waddle, you got some pretty good receivers slotting in here. Hard to bet against this guy really putting anything under 250. Tyreek, though, to score a touchdown, well, I might as well walk out to the kitchen and bet that we have milk in the fridge because I know it's going to be there. Just a given for this guy to score a touchdown. And over 6.5 receptions, give me that all day. There's no way I think that he doesn't get 6.5 catches. Tua's looking for him. His eyes they're glued on 10. They're looking for him every single time. And he's going to run the ball and he's going to score. And this is why I think at least 50 plus rushing and receiving yards. Look, call me crazy. You could say he's in for at least 100, but I'm trying to make my money back. I lost $25 here, and I'm not a fan of it. So, 50 plus, it's a given. Jalen Waddle, 50 plus rushing and receiving as well. So, I'm liking my odds on this bet. Plus 800 for some pretty given bets. You guys might as well throw at least $5 down on that one. Why not? Come on. Look at me. I might as well be a professional sports bettor. Not actually. I don't want to be addicted to gambling. But I will say this. JBD, one last time. Thank you, brother. Really appreciate it. I'm also going to say I'm so excited for this NHL season to kick off. I haven't been this excited for a season in God knows how long. I am hyped. Freaking hyped. Ready? Montreal are playing on the 14th and 15th. They're playing against the Leafs. They're going to dust them. I'm freaking ready for it. And with that being said, I hope everyone has a great week/weekend. And we'll see you back here next week. All right? This has been Intermission Entertainment, signing off.